Welcome to the BTS Presents show.
I'm Brian Schulman, I'm the producer. We're currently doing segments on Santa Cruz County and Silicon Valley real estate behind the scenes. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Candace Bradfield, broker and owner of Bradfield & Associates, and past president of our Santa Cruz County Association of Realtors. I want to thank you for joining BTS Presents.
Hi, I'm Datta Khalsa. Welcome back to the show. We appreciate you joining us. We have an interesting format we're going to try with this show. We always pride ourselves in bringing divergent views together, and I'm often surprised at these breakout sessions that happen. And we have Jim Weller and Lynn Renshaw, and Jim is a local minister and title expert, and Lynn is a co-founder of Santa Cruz Together and an outspoken opponent of rent control. What do you see as the shortfalls in what they're proposing with this rent control ordinance?
There's a lot of things about the initiative that are an overreach. So, for example, it regulates single-family homes, and there's instances where if you had to, my parents are aging, so if I wanted to lease my house and go take care of my parents for a couple of years, I'd come back, I would owe up to $18,000, $20,000 in relocation fees to live in my own house. So I want it to be clear to people that we're not just discussing things that are only about renters. It affects ordinary homeowners, ordinary neighborhoods. But one of the things that we were talking about specifically, so affordable housing is, I've looked at these tables, there's a table where there's your income and then the allowable rent, and it's California regulated, it is means tested. Rent control itself isn't means tested, and what, in all the studies that have been done, what it does is it dislocates the lowest income people because you create more competition. So the people who succeed in securing housing are, again, the higher income people. So it's not correlated to helping the people it intends to help. So in that way, it's a very blunt policy. So affordable housing is targeted to exactly who it's intending to help. And this one has all these side effects where it's displacing the very people it intends to help, the low-income people. There's special protections for families, this part about moving unlimited people up to 1 per 50 square feet. So then you have a situation where it's going to be hard for families to find a place to live. The more competition you have, the easier it is to just select a tenant. So, there's many flaws in it because it's 32 pages long. And what I'm talking about is not abstract rent control, I'm talking about this specific policy. And then the other thing we were talking about is that you can't really say, let's put in the most extreme rent control law in California, and then let's talk about building inclusionary housing and expanding the ADU strategy and creating micro units and all these other things, because the laws are so onerous that people won't make those investments. So you can't just say, we're going to do all these things at the same time. Rent control will prevent other strategies from working.
And so Jim, you're in the process of potentially building 30 units of housing, which I think everybody agrees will be a positive thing.
Right.
And I think in our discussion before this segment, you had mentioned that it would be exempt from rent control because of Costa-Hawkins, but let's say hypothetically if Costa-Hawkins was repealed as it's been proposed, how would that impact your development and your desire to basically see that housing go towards rental versus perhaps selling it to or developing it as specifically low-income housing?
Well, our commitment is to develop affordable rental units. By affordable, we mean available to people of modest means. And it's also our commitment to set aside a quarter of the units that we build as controlled low-income rental properties for lower and very low income people.
Under Measure J, or
I'm not sure it's
Okay.
whether it's under J, but it's going to be a contractual arrangement with the city and part of the permit process. So we're going to go beyond the 15% inclusionary requirement to 25%. I think personally that because of our situation and our design and our business arrangement with our partners, we will be able to build these units with conventional financing and offer them at relatively low rents in perpetuity.
It's a great vision.
That's our plan.
Yeah.
If Costa-Hawkins is repealed and rent control is imposed in a way that affects our rental decisions, then I feel that it will probably not hamper us in what we intend to do, because we're not intending to get the highest rent possible anyway. We do have a concern though, and that is the construction lending environment locally may be affected by perceptions of the future effects of rent control. So what I'm saying is that, for instance, my developer partner, who's a housing developer locally, is concerned that local bank construction lenders may feel that under rent control, it will be problematic for a project to produce enough revenue to serve the debt reliably in the long term. So we'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it.
But that might result in lower number of units, perhaps, or.
It's hard to say what it might result in.
I think that's the big concern, is the unintended consequences, I think, of a lot of these things. What was perhaps the most surprising thing that Lynn informed you about with the new measure?
Well,
Yes.
just to give full disclosure, I'm in favor of the rent control ballot proposition. I'm not part of the central committee that organized it, although I have collected signatures for it. I think it's probably going to pass because there's such a massive groundswell in favor of it. I'm really interested, though, at this stage in hearing what the concerns are of those in the community who oppose it.
And do you see, I mean, let's take San Francisco or Berkeley, for example, as cities that had rent control passed in the 80s, and obviously suffer the same problems of homelessness and high rents that we do. I think San Francisco, it's like $6,000 for a two-bedroom unit, right? So that doesn't concern you, that we might be looking at a repeat of that?
It's in the hands of the voters, and I don't intend to engage in debate about it. But no, it doesn't concern me. I think that all other municipal situations in other historical periods are different in complex ways, and that it's kind of a facile approach to just say as a blanket statement that no rent control regime anywhere in California has ever worked, period. And all economists say it doesn't work. Well, that doesn't move me a lot.
Lynn, you want to make a final statement? We've got about 30 seconds.
Well, okay, so the main thing to remember is that no initial rents are decreased, and the high rents also don't go down. So rents are still high. The example today, if you look on Craigslist and see what you're going to find under rent control, we have rent control, check the prices, they're pretty much the same. So it sounds good, but in practice, it's not going to make a material difference for the prices, particularly for houses, because houses are not price rent regulated. So instead of thinking we're speculating about this, we have it now. Take a look.
As usual, time runs short.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching the BTS Presents show.
Khalsa, broker and owner of Main Street Realtors. Thanks for joining us.